So, a very good question has just been asked. Kelsey, go for it.
What does it mean to be an innie?
Yeah, to be a member of the Innies or an inpatient ensemble member for 44.4 means that you are going to play four different roles. Always you are in the same body, but in each of the four different inpatient scenes, you are being a different character. Olivia Chorlian, Chor Chor, as I
Yes,
like.
ma'am.
Can you walk me through like just four potential personas that you might be as a member of the Innies? Like, so first
Well,
thing you might be,
the first thing appears to be that I'm going to be a nurse. But then I can go from being a nurse to being a patient to being a visitor of a patient, a family member or a friend, and going to being like a care assistant in the ward. And the point of that being to show all of the different forms one person, one body can take and can manifest. So, I will still be Olivia Chorlian, but I will be a few different manifestations throughout the play. And my understanding is that is to build empathy into the structure of the casting.
yeah, I've said since I was in my 20s and first started directing theater productions, um, what I noticed based on my own experience is that to be a different kind of role gives you a different experience of what it is to be human. So we know there's research on the fact that like people who end up in psych wards as patients, like often those people like they'll we everyone gets treated differently if they are the identified patient, right? Like the experience is a very different feeling when there's something wrong with you versus when you are being paid to be there versus when you're someone who loves a patient and is showing up for them and is maybe just confused. So for each person to get who's part of this ensemble to get to experience what it feels like to be different roles in the same structure on a stage will be a powerful experience for the person playing the role. But then also the audience gets to see, like, oh, Kelsey, Chor Chor, Satya, not Greg, because Greg's going to be something else, but maybe Greg. Like this person is a totally different animal when they are the head nurse versus when they are the compassionate friend in the final scene, right? Like same body, totally different energy slash degree of empowerment that we're seeing from one scene to the other. Go ahead, Torture.
It is also, I might add, very common in life that someone who has spent time in a psych ward might become a medical professional in this area of medical care, and or that a relative or a loved one of someone who has gone through this will also become that. And that in that process, someone might start out as the assistant and then become the head nurse. And we it is very common to play all of the roles in life,
That's so true.
these particular ones.
I love that you bring that up. But the reason, Satya, that someone could be like an important part of the innies without actually having to learn very much is that when you visit a psych ward, there might like I'll just talk you through a scenario in which like you are you, okay? But you are not having to do much, okay? So let's say in the first scene, you are a patient. And in that scene, you're just really depressed. And you just like sit on the stage in a chair at a table on the side. And like maybe once or twice you start coloring in a coloring book for a few minutes, but then you just like go back to sitting. Maybe you're thumbing through a magazine. Maybe you're just like staring off into space. Okay. So you don't really have to learn much to do that. There's no dance numbers involved, right? You're just like sitting there being a person who's going through a really hard time in a strange scenario with a lot of other people around you. Okay. Second scene, let's say you're playing the nurse who's dispensing meds. You learn, 3 or 4 lines to be that character. You're in scrubs and you look shiny and presentable and beautiful for that scene. And like, that's all you have to do in that scene. Other things happen, but you're not even seen. You're just off stage for it because you just, in that one moment, dispensed meds and had a conversation with me. Okay. Let's say in the third scene, you're a family member who visits, but like, you're like hanging out with a person on the side, having a conversation with them. Maybe you're like the daughter of a man who is like, going through a hard time. You're trying to show up for him, but like all of that is just being pantomime because something else is happening in the main part of the scene. So you don't have to practice that a whole lot. You just kind of, pretend to have a conversation with someone in a corner. All right. Um, and then let's say in the final scene, you are one of the care assistants who I'm going to refer to as the cool kids. Um, you just wear street clothes for that, but you have a lanyard on and like, you just like kind of lean up against the wall and you're just like witnessing it. And maybe at one point, like someone is like, really upset and you just like come over and you like pantomime trying to talk them off the ledge, just trying to calm them down. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Does anyone
Yeah,
have
it
anything
does.
you want
Thank
to
you.
add or like specific questions about what it means to be an innie? Because I will be sending this video to a few people.
I will just say it has nothing to do with your belly button.
What?
Yes. Thank you for clarifying that, Olivia Trillium slash Chor. Any other questions or commentary before I stop the video?
No, I think it makes sense that it's clear what the roles are for
Cool.
each one of them, and it's just coming, getting prepared with costumes, I guess. So perhaps I'm going to ask about costumes. I guess you bring your own costumes, right? Based
Yeah,
on
costume
the
question is good. We have a number of people who are like who love to go to thrift stores and consignment stores and or just like own things. And probably everyone in the world knows someone who has a pair of scrubs, right? Like so like, there will be a lot of like making phone calls, figuring things out across the board. But I also love the idea that there will be certain costume items that are just like moved from one person to the next over the course of the show. Like I have this old brightly colored polka dot bathrobe that I keep with my costume items just because it's kind of tattered and I don't want to wear it as my bathrobe anymore because I got it when I was like, I don't know, 25 or something. But like I can't part with it because it's just happy making. But like there's always someone who's like schlubbing it and like doesn't want to put on real clothing. And like I want a different patient to wear that in each scene. So like, maybe it's you in the first scene and maybe it's somebody else in the final scene. But I'll probably never wear it because I didn't wear it at that time. It was in a costume drawer, but like I like the idea that we see certain items just get passed from one person to the other, maybe scrubs items as well, and that's one final like aesthetic piece where we literally see like put on a different item of clothing, you're going to have a very different experience in the same space. Okay, I think I want to end the video, but if anyone has a final quip away.